On this episode of MythBusters, we unravel the secret world of ancient martial arts masters, the ninja.
Come, silent walrus, let us storm the castle.
As Adam and Jamie attempt to walk on water, snatch a speeding arrow,
That's perfect.
Shadow Warrior style,
Robo hand.
and stop a lethal samurai sword with their bare hands.
Master, he hit me in the head.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
Ow, 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 ow.
and Jamie Heineman.
It's almost too exciting.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
Cue dramatic music.
Joining them, Carrie Byron,
That's gonna be so cool!
Grant Imahara,
For that baby fur!
and Tori Belleci.
Paramedics are nowhere to be found.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Well, it looks like you finally got your dream show, Adam. It's a whole episode devoted to ninjas.
I know, it is so cool.
You can jump around, make cat noises and karate chops and all sorts of adolescent behavior like we know you love to do.
I am so psyched about this one.
And so you want to go change into your outfit too now?
What makes you think I have a ninja costume?
I don't know, something tells me.
Let's look at some stock footage first.
The origin of legendary Japanese warriors, the ninja, is shrouded in mystery. It's believed they were peasants who developed unorthodox combat techniques to defend themselves against the powerful samurai class. Their skills were so extraordinary, they were reputed to border on being supernatural.
So, what do we got?
Well, Jamie-san, we are going to be testing ninjas' agility, strength, reflexes, and weaponry by putting their supposed mythical skills to the test of modern science.
You mean like catching an arrow?
Exactly. And there's walking on water.
What about the build team?
They're gonna test whether you can stop a sword with only your bare hands.
Well, maybe we should start by trying to find a real ninja.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Fortunately, modern-day ninjas aren't concerned about being covert, and the guys find the Bujinkan Dojo in San Francisco listed in the yellow pages.
Okay, so let's play with that to start with.
Chief Instructor Dale Seago has been teaching feudal battle skills here for more than 20 years.
Hi, Dale.
Oh, hi.
Hey Dale, good to see
Dale.
you. So this is ninja training going on?
Yeah. Well, this is all military close quarters combat stuff from Japan's pre-unification Civil War period, so like 1600 AD and before. Really, the stuff that we do is based on timing, positioning, tactics, and psychology, rather than speed and power.
I was hoping you'd just show us, like, what a ninja would do if I tried to attack them.
Okay.
Is now the time to tell Adam Dale is 15th Dan, and there is no 16?
Well, hopefully Adam won't get hurt too badly. A little bit is good.
Just do whatever.
Okay.
Adam hits the mat in record time.
Well, I was to do it so that I locked him up.
As he falls, Dale gives Adam some pointers on the way down with the famed ninja throwing star.
I wasn't actually using the point, just this, but it would say ripping out here,
Ow.
right?
Yeah.
Then we took him down. I had it in here too.
Right in the back, that's good.
The point where he fell down, I was ripping across here, and he came down at a point where he actually was landing on it like this on the back of his neck.
That's pretty efficient. It's Jamie's favorite part, watching me get kicked, my ass kicked.
Adam and Jamie has enjoyed his schooling in the art of the Shadow Warrior.
Can you come back to our shop and do some of this on high-speed camera
Yeah,
for
I'd be
us?
delighted to.
Awesome. Okay, I'm done.
Next, Adam disappears to get some covert essentials.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very good. How are
Welcome
you?
to Tiger Claw.
there's even a martial arts superstore, and it has plenty of mercenary merchandise to choose from.
All right, the Ninja Row is down here.
The Ninja Row. That's great.
Just check out some of their red light saboteur specials.
They're called tabby boots. Have the split toes, so you can climb up ropes and stuff. And they're very silent. These Ninja foot spikes. They're great for walking on ice and for aerating your lawn. We have shuriken. You need lots of shuriken. Every ninja has many shuriken.
These are rubber shuriken.
Well, the metal ones are illegal.
And for the totally 80s enigma,
This is like wearing a t-shirt that says Witness Protection Program.
all undercovered out.
That's the whole thing?
The whole kit.
It's back to the lair to test their 3 ninja myths, beginning with the tale of running on water.
Well, barring any magical powers, which we can't really test on this show, ninjas definitely didn't just walk on water. But they might have had some help. Our researchers have turned up a thing called Mizugumo. So I'm going to build a set of these and see how effective they are.
Mizugumo, meaning water spider in Japanese, were flat wooden discs that ninjas strapped to their feet. The theory is the wide surface area distributed their weight evenly on the surface of the water, so they didn't sink. So what kind of wood would a ninja cobbler have used?
I've got some pine-based light-density fiberboard here. It's pretty much perfect for our uses, so I'm going to use this as our stand-in for the Mizugumo wood.
Adam measures and cuts out 2 circles of pine board. Then he slices each of them into 4 separate pieces.
That's good.
One by one, he stains the sections with a brown pigment and painstakingly sands them back. Paint on, paint off. Such is the mysterious way of the former movie prop maker who, for no particular reason, wants his water shoes to look worn in.
Looks a bit like old wood now.
Lastly, he places a rectangular block in the middle of each circle and secures the pieces together using twine. It's an ancient jigsaw that makes for a puzzling pair of footwear.
I didn't expect it to fold like that. But I wonder if that's not actually part of its function.
Jimmy Choo can rest easy, but these replica ninja shoes may just float like boats.
I can't wait to see how these work.
We know ninjas have speed and quick reaction time. This myth is about strength. Idea is a ninja's being attacked by a swordsman. Swordsman's coming to swing at his head. Ninja catches the blade in his hands without cutting his hands and without being chopped in half.
You mean like this? Oh, you're not supposed to let go of it.
That's precisely why we're not starting with real swords.
Precisely. The team learned just how dangerous real swords can be in a previous myth when they built a
Decapitation hazard, everybody.
pneumatically powered mechanical device that could whip around with the same force and precision
Blind blades are not good.
as a samurai with a point to prove.
Well, I guess it's time to dust off the old sword swinging rig.
I think we're gonna have to turn it on its side because I think it's more like a head swing and maybe calibrate it to human speed.
All right, cool. So which one of us is gonna catch it?
Not me.
People say I'm not that quick.
All right, well, maybe we should make a sword catching rig. Maybe 2 hands that come together like that, and we'll calibrate it to human force.
Sweet.
Sweet.
This is gonna be so much fun.
First, they need to make fake hands to attach to their rig.
We're gonna try to make some hands that are as flat as possible so that we will have as much surface area as possible to be able to catch that sword.
So, who will be the appendage model?
How big are your hands?
I think we should use Belechi's hands. More surface area.
How many weeks am I gonna have to sit through watching you guys play ninja?
As long as it takes for us to finish this one.
Carrie gets to work and mixes up a batch of alginate to make molds.
You're holding your hands flat like this?
No, I got something else going on. I got a surprise for you guys. You're gonna love it.
After 20 minutes, the gel is set.
Go higher.
and Tori can break free.
Nice. Looks good.
Meanwhile, Grant's brought our ninja's nemesis, the samurai sword-swinging rig, out of storage and has started putting it back together.
The basic idea behind this is big air ram pulls on the chain. The chain is wound around the shaft. As it pulls, spins the shaft, sword swings really quickly.
Representing our aristocratic samurai warrior is a pricey reproduction Japanese sword. Representing our ninja peasant is a humble ballistics gel head.
I like it. I love it. Good, homeboy.
They align the blade so it sweeps in a downward motion between the arms.
And if the hands miss, it'll get caught right here in the skull.
Love it. That's great.
Carrie has made multiple ballistics wax reproductions from Tori's hand molds and slots her first set into the rig.
Now we can also get that applause we always wanted.
MythBusters with a live audience.
Yay!
I like it.
Perfect.
The belief that some people possess the ability to walk on water has been around for centuries. So why not the mythical ninja? Adam and Jamie arrive at the Bamboo Reef Dive Center to try out their replica feudal foot floaties.
Can we use your pool for our water shoes?
You bet. Go for it.
Cool.
Thanks.
Adam vanishes into the ladies' room. And just like magic,
These are my special device for storming the castle, walking across the water.
All right then.
they may look unfathomable,
Tie my feet in within an inch of their lives.
but these flat wooden discs were modeled on an exact replica of Japanese feudal times footwear.
When we started looking into whether ninjas could walk on water, the first piece we came up with is a museum piece called the Mizugumo, supposedly for water walking. I'm about to find out.
Being pre-Velcro, Jamie's nautical knot-tying skills are a big help.
Not many people know this, but Jamie comes from an ancient line of 9 generations of shoe tires.
Come, silent walrus. Let us storm the castle. I will don my safety gear.
Adam dons his padded suit and psychs himself up for the challenge. Did you ever hear the legend of the nearsighted ninja? Nope, me neither.
I have a feeling how this is all gonna turn out. Just like a little intuition, like spidey sense.
So what does the wise, silent walrus think of Adam's water-walking chances?
I think Adam's going to sink like a stone. They are made of wood. They do float. But unless he's going about 80 miles an hour when he touches the surface of the water, he's going straight down.
The pool waters are as still as glass, and all is quiet. It is time for Ninja Savage to stride forward and walk across its surface.
The first step seemed kind of promising.
Promising may be a stretch. In order for it to be called walking on water, there needs to be more than one step. But ninjas are no quitters, so Adam has another tactic to try.
To me, it seems like it's all going to be a function of my ability to move my feet crazy fast, like a cartoon. Which might be possible.
Despite his increased momentum, the shoes still weren't able to support Adam's weight. But it was comical.
I believe that the moment I hit the water, I was sinking in the water. These may have slowed my descent, but that's really the best that can be said for them.
Looks like Adam's Ninja Turtle aspirations are all washed up.
I don't know about you, but these seem a little cumbersome to me.
Yeah, I don't think you're going anywhere on water with those things.
The important thing is that I look damn good.
Well, it turns out that mitsugumus were never really intended for walking on water. They were more for like rice paddies or mud flats, and they probably worked okay.
Kind of like snowshoes.
Exactly. However, ninjas also were not at all above trying to encourage the belief in their supernatural powers.
Ah, right, the masters of misinformation. I've heard they would do things like place posts underneath the water as they were escaping a shogun castle to make it look like they were walking on water. They wanted people to fear their magical powers.
Exactly.
The Mizugumo shoes may have sunk like the Titanic, but the guys might just rescue this myth yet. Could ninjas stop speeding swords with their bare hands? To find out, the team is building a mechanical device that's part sword-swinging samurai and part sword-catching ninja.
That looks good.
To calibrate it to move with realistic human strength and speed, they need to do some tests. Grant hangs a force plate on a C-stand that represents the blade the ninja must catch. The force of the ninja's hands will be set to the person with the greatest strength.
And do it like your life depends on it.
Thanks for that motivation, Grant.
Go.
Go.
And with a mighty firm smack peaking at 1,000 newtons, the most determined to stay in one piece is
The pain.
Grant.
The pain from the initial hit. Well, there you go.
You're all full of Newtons.
You are full of Newtons.
Yeah, fig Newtons, maybe.
The team sets up for their next test to determine the speed of the sword swipe.
Take this sword, throw it down as hard as you can on the ninja, and we'll see who's the fastest. Don't think of it as a competition, but it is.
Suddenly, Adam ambushes the trio. It was a classic ninja move. Tori steps up to take the first swing. The rig will be calibrated to whoever's the quickest.
Whenever you're ready, Tori, then we'll show you how it's done.
Oh.
I'll come back.
Master, he hit me in the head. You teach him a lesson.
Warning, sword blows to the cranium may cause headaches. Next, will Adam's attempt have more of an edge?
Master Savage sword swinging trial, take one.
Wow.
Look at that.
Ninja's cool black stalker wear is getting shredded. Finally, it's Grant's turn.
The ninja must go to the bathroom before he swings his sword.
He hasn't looked this incensed since Star Trek was canceled.
Master Imahara sword swinging test, take one.
Nice.
They compare their times on the high speed, and once again, Grant aces the test.
How many frames is that?
That is 24 frames and 96 milliseconds.
Nice work.
Way to go, benchmark.
Thank you.
I think it was the face.
That's about 47 miles per hour.
Our young grasshoppers have learned much of the way of the ninja.
You have graduated to the next level.
Next up in our ninja bits, can you catch an arrow with your bare hands?
How are we going to do that?
Well, I figure we should take some of our arrows downstairs and you can shoot them at me and I'll just try and catch them.
So you'd actually let me shoot at you with a bow and arrow?
Amazingly, yes.
All right.
Legend has it that a ninja could do this dexterous trick with ease, so Jamie and Adam want to get a feel for it themselves.
I'm going to string a regular bow and set up an arrow with a tennis ball on it and shoot it at Adam, or at least off to the side of Adam. We'll put Adam in a protective suit in case I either get frisky or miss.
Jamie is an experienced archer, and even though he's not using a real arrowhead, this is not something to try at home.
He's going to be shooting from over there into this garbage can. I'm going to be standing here. We'll catch it on high-speed camera, see how fast
I can actually catch this arrow at.
Jamie marks out notches on the shaft. The further he pulls back, the faster the rod will travel.
Whoosh! All right, I'm ready if you are. You want to start slow?
Yep.
All right.
Jamie starts out at Mark 1.
2, 1.
The arrow eludes Adam's grasp.
I don't have enough time to anticipate. It's like by the time you let go and I've moved.
Still at Mark 1. This time, Adam tries to move in sync with the arrow.
Hey!
Good job.
You know, I anticipated when you were just about to do it, and I just started moving, and we worked, it's like working together.
It's a beautiful thing. Next, Jamie ups the ante to Mark 3. But the arrow keeps sailing on by, as the guy's unified martial arts magic peaked already.
Got it!
Even though Adam's form was impressive, the speed was lacking. Their tennis ball projectile was traveling at 58 miles an hour, a third of the speed of a real arrow.
You've got a couple of things here that are throwing this off. For one thing, this is, what, twice or 3 times as heavy as a normal arrow would be because of that thing on the end of it.
Right.
I really think that we need to figure out some other solution.
To test this myth at a true-to-life rate, the guys have to bounce around a new strategy. Back over at M7, the team has finished putting their mechanical sword-catching rig together. Now, to set it to move at a real-life rate.
We don't want it to be superhuman, and we don't want it to be subhuman. We want it to be whatever a person could do, and then we'll be ready to try and catch a sword. Calibration first test at 100 psi. In 3, 2, 1.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, the speed and force of the ninja's arms was exactly the same as Grant's best time, but the replay reveals something undetectable to the naked eye.
There's a bounce back which could let that sword get right through there.
As the hands hit together, they bounce off each other and jiggle like jello, opening up an unforeseen headache.
The force is causing him to bounce away, and it's allowing a gap which is going to allow the sword to go right through and bury into the guy's head.
To try and stop the handshake, they're going to strengthen them from the inside. Building up the bones may add extra beef.
First you slice the hand in half, and then you get to beat the metal, you stick it in.
Tori has a big saw over there, and he's taking out these tiny little pieces of metal and putting in big, thick, girthy pieces of metal. That way when these things hit,
Tori also has another quiver-containing idea.
What I'm thinking is maybe what we do is put some kind of a latch so that when the hands come together, it keeps them there. And it's not adding any more pressure. All it's doing is keeping the hands together like you would be able to do if you were using your muscles.
He attaches 2 kickstands to the arms that will fall and lock into ratchets, and fastens pneumatic rams on either side of the hands.
This thing's starting to look like a monster. Pretty soon you're not going to recognize it.
But it's function, not form, that counts.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
That look nice and sturdy and stable.
Yeah.
They check it out frame by frame.
Stay together.
Come on.
Stay together. Yeah! Baby!
That's
There
it.
we go.
Right now what we have to do is catch a sword. That should be easy.
With their rig set to human speed and pressure, Grant adds a final touch that will trigger the entire system.
When the arm passes through, it actually activates the hands clapping.
Let the recreation of the battle between the 2 ancient warrior classes begin.
In 3, 2, 1.
That's what I'm talking about!
High five. It seems our mechanical ninja thwarted the flash of samurai slicing steel straight away. Or are we jumping to conclusions?
You know what my guess is? Why is that? It bounced off the table and then shot back up into the
So you got it on the rebound!
And everybody knows being caught on the rebound doesn't count.
That's so sad.
head.
I was like shocked that we actually caught it. I was like, how does it that easy?
So true. But moving on is the best remedy. Grant adjusts the timer so the hands will trigger sooner.
Hopefully this time, the adjustment will get it so that the hands clap right on the sword.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
He stopped it with his head. Dude, look how deep that went. It's all the way down to his eyebrow.
Whoa, that definitely split your skull.
The hands slam shut quicker, but not quick enough.
Oh, we just missed it.
Okay,
All right,
so it's just.
We just need to pull it back just a hair.
So close.
Just a hair.
So they tweak the timer just a hair.
Ninja sword catching rig in 3, 2, 1.
Whoa!
That looked good.
It looked right.
It looked really good.
This time, the sword comes to a stop, but only because the hands closed a fraction too early and the blade got stuck in the ballistics material.
We're 5 milliseconds off.
All right.
5 milliseconds. Do you know how fast 5 milliseconds is? That's ridiculous.
All right.
Faster than you can blink your eye. Much faster.
Such an infinitesimal amount might not make any difference to their results.
Thinly sliced palm.
So, do they call this myth busted right here, right now, or go for absolute precision?
I think maybe we have to get it the perfect timing before we can actually say anything, otherwise people will yell at us.
Jamie and Adam are targeting the myth that a ninja can pluck a speeding arrow out of the air.
You know, I was only able to catch these arrows at 60 miles an hour, and I'm not trained at this, but still, your average arrow travels like 3 times that fast.
If we were to build a mechanical hand, I could do that. You know, I can make it grab as fast as it's physically possible to grab something.
Or even faster if it turns out that's not possible.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll build a super accurate arrow shooting rig, you build a hand grabbing rig, and we'll see what the limit of the human ability to grab an arrow is.
Okay.
Before they build their new rig, Jamie and Adam want to study the physical capability of a master of martial arts. Up close and personal. Enter the Dale, our feudal battle skills expert.
How are you, sir?
Hi, I'm good to see you. Jay.
Thanks for coming by. So, have you seen the supposed skill that ninjas possess of being able to pluck arrows out of the air?
Well, only in the movies, because from what I've been taught in our training, the idea was to get out of the way or use cover to hide from them, or or wear armor if you're on the battlefield.
Very sensible, but even so, Dale is willing to let the guys time the swiftness of his highly trained hand.
When you're ready, just go like that, and we'll fire the camera and see how fast it happens.
Okay, about there.
Whenever you're ready. Did you get it?
If you blink, you would have missed it.
Wow, this is 500 frames per second, so you closed your hand in about 35 milliseconds. That's great. That gives us a really good baseline to try and get our robot to equate to, and I think it makes it a lot easier for our mythical ninja to actually catch it.
Many thanks, Sensei Seago, for lending a hand to this myth.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Dale.
Jamie's beret doesn't come off for many reasons, but one of them is to weld. His job is to make a mechanical hand that's as fast as Dale's.
This is a trick that I've used before on various kinds of movie things where I need a fake hand. A motorcycle chain is actually very sturdy, and if you run a line along one side of it that pulls taut, the whole thing wants to curl up like that.
Jamie welds 5 pieces of chain together to form the fingers of a hand. Then he attaches it to a metal stand and threads the links through with long laces.
These things that I'm putting in here right now would be equivalent to tendons, but instead of going to a muscle, they're going to a pneumatic actuator.
The actuators will provide the force that will clamp the fingers and thumb shut in a vice-like grip.
This will be protecting Jamie's shop in no time.
Stop. You have 3 minutes to comply.
While Jamie completes the catch, Adam works on the throw.
I've hard mounted the bow to a steel frame.
I've got a trigger mount that can pull back the string, and all this will be attached to a timer, a super sensitive timer that will also trigger the hand catching.
The timers will allow the guys to fine-tune the release and hand grab to the millisecond. Now, to see if his aim is true.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. That's great.
Now to line up the ninja in front of the samurai. Adam and Jamie's arrow nabbing device is part man,
That's perfect.
part machine.
Well, that ain't moving.
That's not going anywhere?
All ninja.
Robo hand.
Your move, creep.
Adam's built his shooting rig, and it's all set up with timers to coincide with my hand rig, which, for this myth to be true, this hand should be able to actually close quickly enough at human speed to grab the arrow.
Arrow catching rig, test number 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The fist closed too late. Adam goes through the numbers.
Off by 200 milliseconds.
Both the arrow and hand were moving at accurate real-life speeds. The arrow clocked 170 miles an hour, and the hand grab was just 2 milliseconds slower than Ninja Dale.
Given the speed that this hand is closing, it pretty much matches our ninja's high-speed whoosh hand closing. So this is actually a really good analog for a human catching an arrow.
Adam adjusts the timers to his precise calculations.
The arrow to release 200 milliseconds after the hand starts to activate. So that's 1, 2, and it's 200 milliseconds. That ought to do it. Arrow catching rig at human speed. 3, 2, 1.
But they soon learn you don't become a ninja overnight.
Oh wow, the arrow overshot the hand. The grab should be closed there. That's 30 more milliseconds. 3, 2, 1.
It went over the top of it, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. All right, 3, 2, 1. I wonder what happened.
Too fast for my eyes.
I know.
Finally, they achieve a perfectly coordinated shot. But even though the rig was working at the correct human and arrow speed, the ever-elusive projectile slips through the hand's grasp.
That tells me that at human speed, it's not fast enough to grab the arrow.
I think that's exactly what this says. I think you're absolutely right.
I think our only choice at this point is to make the hand go faster.
To ramp it up.
That's all there is left.
All right, I'll get to rigging.
Hi, ikimashou. That's let's go in Japanese.
We have a technique for speeding up the hand, so this will move so quickly you won't even be able to see it move.
Very ninja. The trick is to spring-load the actuators so they hit the quick release, superhuman hard and fast.
Okay, now I preload the cylinders. It's a lot of force. Here we go. It's all gonna happen in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. That is perfect! Superhuman ninja strength!
Got it. At bionic speed, RoboHand finally manages to defend himself.
Our robot hand is closing 5 times as fast as a human could possibly close their hand.
And that's what it took.
It finished before the tail feathers got there, but any slower and it wouldn't have caught that arrow.
So, the hand of a mere mortal could never have achieved this feat.
Myth is busted. This is what it would take to catch an arrow.
Robo hand.
Robo hand! Now, just all we have to do is build the rest of our superhuman ninja robot, and we can take over the world.
Okay, you do that.
Trying to walk on water. Wearing an exact replica of supposed ninja water walking shoes. Adam got nothing but wet.
Well, You were right about these water shoes, man. Even when these on, I sank like stone.
Yeah, they pretty much sucked. I guess that means the myth is busted for me.
Well, it may be, but now we have to figure out what it would take to walk on water. And personally, I'd like another crack at making my own set of water walking shoes. I think it's possible.
This time, Adam is thinking out of the box and making a modern-day pair of ninja shoes. His 21st century Mizugumo materials are a pair of snowboard boots, aluminum, and packing foam.
This is a deadly weapon.
His idea is oh so simple, yet oh so calculated.
To make my water boots work, I am exploiting the principle of water displacement. I weigh about 200 pounds. I'm going to try and displace in excess of 200 pounds of water. I've calculated that 4 layers of this gives me about 2.2 cubic feet per foot of water displacement. That equals about a total of 265 pounds of buoyancy.
He traces outlines of the boots onto the foam, cuts out a hole, and wedges them inside. Then he sprays glue between the layers.
Awesome! I could not have gone better.
Sometimes the things you learn in kindergarten stay with you forever. Time to take his shoes for a dry run.
Dude!
His runway strut needs some work, but he thinks his clogs are kicking. To keep the foam from breaking apart, he tapes aluminum sheeting to the base and rivets on a lightweight rail to keep everything rigid.
I've added enough strength that it can support my 200 pounds out at either end, and it only has to support half that. So there's a little bit of flex, but no breakage.
To ensure a smooth gliding action in the water, he shapes the tips so they scoop upwards. The final touch is to paint them in a timeless shade of ninja noir.
I'm painting these black because I want to say that I want to be invisible, right? I mean, it's like in the modern society, no one knows who you are. That is the essence of the ninja, right?
Right. To find out, it's back to the pool.
These look like fun.
Well, this is Ninja Shoe 2.0. This is my attempt. What do you think?
I think it's going to be real hard to stay upright on those puppies.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah. Adam boards his tanker ships and is ready to launch.
Woo! Oh, if I had any dignity, that would have been humiliating.
Just as well, because we want to see that pratfall again. For his next attempt, he tries a gentle sitting start.
There you go.
There we go. Oh, I'm stealthy as the night.
Oh. Don't I look like silent death? Bringing justice in the night?
Our far from soundless assassin is trying his hardest to move forward.
My paddles don't seem to be working, man.
But it's like being stuck on a nautical treadmill.
I don't know about these ninja shoes, man. What do you think?
I think they suck.
They don't suck.
Harsh, but true. The samurai have won this mission, and Adam accepts defeat.
I give up on my ninja shoes. They're not stealthy, they're not easy, and they don't move.
You've seen this ninja battle trick in 1,000 B-grade martial arts movies, but is it possible? To find out, Carrie, Tori, and Grant built a sword-catching machine that so far hasn't cut it.
He stopped it with his head.
But the timing of their rig is only off by less than the blink of an eye, and Grant's got a plan to make it perfect.
And that's this. It's a timer, And this will give me millisecond resolution so I can dial in the delay exactly.
Grant makes the minute adjustment they need, and our ninja is prepared to make his final attempt.
This is it. I can feel it. This has got to be it.
In 3, 2, 1.
Something came off the hands.
Yeah, it was really close.
Once again, the sword slips through our ninja's fingers. But were his reflexes right on?
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, keep going.
One.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. We got it.
That's it.
The timing was right.
Thank you.
That is it.
Thank you very much.
You can't get any more perfect on the timing than that.
And you still can't catch the sword.
That's it. Look, and it just slides right through.
With their mechanical ninja operating under ideal conditions, there's nothing more they can do in the workshop. So it's time again to consult our real-life ninja, Dale.
Nice to meet you. So I notice you have all your fingers. Have you ever tried to catch a sword with your hands?
We prefer to get out of the way. I mean, we may take the sword away, but there's an offline evasion first.
A wise tactic. But to put this myth to the true test, Dale is bravely allowing Carrie to swing a sword towards him. Don't worry, the blade has been dulled.
All right, so he's just coming at you like this. So let me just get the spot.
Wow, you have a lot of confidence in her. A lot more than we do.
For extra protection, he's wearing shuko on his hands, reproduction ninja climbing claws.
So go like this.
Yeah, you'd be starting with your left foot forward, and then taking a step, getting some momentum, and kaboom.
Okay.
Don't hold back, Carrie.
Carrie summons up her best kaboom.
Jeez, that's
Did I get
scary.
you or just the sword?
No, that's scary though. Okay.
You almost got him that time. Wow.
With 40 years of training under his black belt,
That's some force behind it.
Dale blocks her blows using just one hand. And Carrie wasn't going easy on him.
Do you feel that maybe my swing wasn't hard enough?
It was hard enough. I actually, there was a little bit of a bruising here because this doesn't have the leather liner that the historic ones would have for a little extra padding.
Dale's preferred sword catch technique is different to the one we're testing. So what's his take on the bare, double-handed approach?
What do you think about, catching a sword like in the movies like this with your bare hands?
That's something I wouldn't regard as impossible, but for the most part, pretty silly. I mean, the idea of trying to stop it this way with all that kinetic energy still coming here is probably not a good idea. If you were to attempt it and try to make it work, it'd be best to catch and receive so you're absorbing and redirecting the force.
I'd shake your hand goodbye, but I think I'll just wave and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys. High five, huh?
Look at that slice.
Back at the shop, armed with Dale's input and the sorry condition of their fake hands, what conclusion has the team come to?
So, yeah, bare hands.
The timing was perfect.
And the hands came together at the perfect time with the most human strength we can muster and still couldn't hold on to it.
Are we calling this one busted?
Yeah, pretty much unless you're a movie ninja. I don't think that you can hold on to the sword. There's just too much velocity behind it.
Yep, we gave this one our best shot.
So you mean all those ninja movies were not true?
Attempting the mythical ninja trick of walking on water, Adam went nowhere but under. But as the silent observer of his numerous dunkings, Jamie's had time to think, and he's come up with a mysterious solution.
There is something that I've come up with that you can walk on it. It does have a lot of water in it. I'd like to see how that works.
His covert concoction is 200 gallons of water and 1,000 pounds of powdery cornstarch. Trusted myth-turned Jess is in charge of getting the consistency just right. Some blue food coloring completes the recipe.
Okay, we're good. Are we ready to pour?
Yeah, ready when you are.
The mixture is tipped into a large plastic container that represents a deep samurai moat. Adam is perplexed.
What is this stuff?
It's water. It's got something else in it, but it's water.
It's a Heinemann version of water.
Yeah, and you're gonna walk on it.
No way.
There's nothing Adam would rather do than play in a giant tub of goo.
Look at this!
Finally, the container is filled to the brim, and our ninja novice soaks up some advice from Sensei Heinemann.
I think you ought to get one good stride across it. As far as hanging out there and walking around or even hopping, I have my doubts.
All right, well, I want to go.
Adam scales the imaginary wall and is ready to cross the water obstacle.
Think like those movies where they're walking up bamboo and stuff, you know.
All right, here we go. That is so cool!
Hey, it worked.
It sure did. Adam ran across the surface. The reason is the cornstarch and water combo is a non-Newtonian fluid, and these kinds of fluids change their viscosity. Cornstarch is made up of long chains of molecules. If you add water, it slides between the chains and separates them so it flows like a liquid. But if you add pressure, the water is squeezed out and it behaves like a solid.
It looks like a liquid, it pours like a liquid. But when you want to run across it, you're fine because the impact of your feet is enough to change that balance. All of a sudden you've got a solid that you're dealing with only for a second, but it's long enough for you to move across the top of it without sinking into it.
I'm just gonna go back and forth a couple times because it's really fun.
Adam shatters the perception that shadow warriors don't know how to have a good time.
Dude, it's a lot of work. Being ninja is a hard job. Woo.
It wants to let you go down, doesn't it?
All right, so this is just to show there's no trickery involved. This is actually a liquid. I'm gonna step into it. I'm gonna sink. Then I'm gonna change my clothes. Oh, that's funky. Oh, dude, that feels so wrong.
So it's a far-fetched idea for feudal Japanese times. But corn was introduced to Japan around the 16th century, right around the time ninjas existed. And it sure was fun.
Oh, come on in, the water's great.
Of course, this is a little on the silly side. I mean, yes, it's a liquid, but are you really going to have large quantities of cornstarch mixed up and sitting around someplace? I suppose maybe next to a cornstarch factory in Asia somewhere, and you happen to be a ninja and you happen to be trying to sneak around. It's a bit of a stretch.
All right, so this is the end of the line for walking on water. What do you think?
It's busted.
Totally busted. Let's go home.
All right.
On this episode of MythBusters, get ready to saddle up and ride out.
We put Old West myths to the test.
Adam and Jamie are given the okay to corral some classic cowboy capers.
I love that.
Can you take someone's hat off with a bullet? Can you bust your buddy out of jail with old-fashioned horsepower? Or do you need something with a little more kick?
Danger! Warning! Warning!
3, 2.
Meanwhile,
Oh, yes!
Carrie, Tori, and Grant are on a collision course with a modern motoring myth.
Are you getting frustrated?
Frustration,
Because
yes.
I am.
Can an airbag turn a lockpick into a skull-cleaving spear? Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
Danger is my middle name.
And Jamie Heineman.
Their behavior, we're going to make you into a coach.
Between them, over 30 years special effects experience. Joining them, Tori Belleci, Carrie Byron,
Don't try what you're about to see at home.
and Grant Imahara.
He's alive!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. Now that's what I call a quick draw.
Adam, what are you doing?
What do we got?
Well, it looks like you already know. We've got Wild West myths.
Excellent. Like what?
Well, like you shoot somebody's hat off with a gun.
You're gonna shoot my hat off?
I'm going to shoot your hat off.
Oh, can we break out of jail?
That's the other one.
Yes, I've always wanted to do that.
Yippee-ki-yay.
You wanted to see Adam and Jamie strap on their chaps? So you got it. The guys are gonna circle the wagons and throw themselves into busting some frontier-style fables.
All right, so which one do we start with?
Let's start with the hats.
It's perhaps the most famous Wild West cliche, as predictable as a stoush in a saloon. Right in the middle of some Western movie mayhem, a shot is fired and a cowboy's hat is gone with the wind. Is it true grit or just Hollywood gun smoke and mirrors?
Okay, I can see us needing some period-correct hats, some period-correct guns, and period-correct ammo.
Okay, well, I'll track down the guns and the ammo. Why don't you deal with the hats?
Adam's got a fistful of dollars. He's going to do just that.
We've come to the expert. Bill here at Golden Gate Western Wear in Pleasant Hill, California, should be able to answer all of my questions.
Bill's hats match those worn by cowboys in the late 19th century. Back in that golden age, hats were made from wool or beaver felt. It was a time when men were men. The beavers were nervous.
But this is a style that was the most popular cowboy hat.
This was?
1870s, 1880s.
Somebody ought to belt you in
Bill's even got a replica of the Duke's own crowning glory.
the hell I was.
And this is typical of what John Wayne wore. And we've stained it. We've got the cavalry cord on there just like his. So. And you notice it's a very tall crown.
Yeah.
Substantial felt.
It's a beautiful
So
hat.
it gives you a big target in the top there.
After posing as a hat stand, Adam chooses 8 classic cowboy hats. 4 wool, 4 beaver. But as keen as he is to try them on, he's decided he won't be under them when the bullets start blasting.
Not that I don't trust you. I know you're a good shot, but I don't want to let you shoot a hat off my head. I think we should have a ballistics material head, and I think that both Grant and I have done our service as cast heads, and it's time to make a mold of your head.
I got no problem with that.
Good.
Jamie takes a seat on the casting couch while Adam prepares to tar and feather him.
This is basically the same stuff that the dentist uses to cast your teeth. It's seaweed-based. Water's the binder. This is gonna get drippy. You ready? So come on over here, Jess, and help me keep it up on Jamie. It's like it's gonna drip down past his shoulders. Don't get it near his mouth.
The alginate goes on like campfire beans.
All right, doing your left eye, Jamie.
Only his mouth is left uncovered so he can breathe.
He's like the incredible melting man.
It's an uncomfortable, claustrophobic process. He has to spend nearly half an hour cocooned in his seaweed face mask.
I'm gonna slice up the back of your head. Here it goes. We're gonna start peeling this off. Here, oh, it's good, it's good. Is it moving? Watch, clear his ears. Excellent. Ears off here. And you're free. Excellent. You can go get cleaned up.
That was kind of unpleasant.
The alginate deteriorates quickly, and Adam has to race the clock to get the ballistic bust finished. But a few cracks are starting to appear.
This whole thing is going crazy on me.
With time running out, he sticks the mold together using silicone and straps.
Complete failure.
But all the king's horses and all the king's men won't be able to rescue Adam this time. As he pours the molten ballistics gel, the mold cracks like an egg.
You want to get me some foil tape?
And the yolk's on him.
Pretty much total failure in every way possible. I haven't failed this badly in a long time.
It's all right, Adam. It's been said that when they made Jamie, they broke the mold. You've just gone and done it again.
It's sort of been a big wasted effort as far as I'm concerned. The casting was no good. The mold is no good. It's like nothing's any good. Adam knows how to do it. He just didn't do it in this case. That's not too terribly mean,
No,
is
that's
it?
exactly what I probably would say.
So now, it'll be Grant's battered ballistics bust after all staring down the barrel of this cowboy myth.
All right, let's cut.
Now it's over to the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll let you decide who's who.
Okay, so lockpick of death, what is that?
This one's actually an airbag myth. Scenario is a guy's breaking into a car using one of those flat lockpicks. Triggers the side airbag. The airbag explodes, launching the lockpick through his skull.
Sweet.
Sweet.
It's another story from that font of urban legend, the famous MythBusters fan site. A would-be car thief is using a lockpick to break into a car. While poking around inside the door, he unwittingly triggers the side airbag, which expands with such force, the lockpick becomes a missile, and the thief suddenly finds himself picking his own brain. Get ready for a MythBuster tale full of exploding airbags, skullduggery,
As long as they're legal, we're happy.
and udon noodles.
Well, that looks a little like brain, doesn't it? Well, I think we should learn, first of all, how to pick a car lock. Do either of you know how to do that already?
No.
Well, short of getting a criminal, I think maybe we should see if a fireman can help us out, because I know they have to pick locks to get into cars.
The guys are going on a fact-finding mission.
We need to learn how to use a lockpick, and we hear you can teach us.
Well, we do have some cars over here, and we do have some tools. Let's see if we can actually get in.
Excellent. Let's do it.
Cool.
At the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department's training facility, firemen do take lock-picking lessons. And while we're not allowed to show you how it's done, the MythBusters take careful note of the technique.
All right, Matt, you want to give it a shot? Sure.
So you are leaning directly over the lockpick as you're trying to get in the car.
It's worth noting, too, that these guys don't practice this on vehicles with side airbags, just in case.
I mean, if you were leaning over that tool and the airbag went off, I could see how that thing would launch up into your neck.
This demonstration shows that a person using a lockpick would be in the correct position to be impaled.
Almost got it.
Hey! Outstanding.
Nice.
Excellent.
But would an airbag really go off with a big enough bang to send that tool through your skull?
We have a driver's airbag out of a small vehicle, and I put a traffic cone on it so we can see it a little bit better going up in the air, and we're going to launch it. Do not try this at home.
The airbag's rigged for remote ignition.
Everybody ready?
Hey, we're ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah! Run!
Good shot.
The leading edge of this bag is coming at you about 500 miles an hour. It's deploying in about 1/4 of a millisecond, and then it deflates almost immediately.
These are the airbags that come out of the steering wheel. Now, what are the difference between these and the side ones that come out of the door?
Side airbags will be deploying about 4 times faster than these are.
Now that we gotta see.
3, 2, 1.
Whoa! Yes!
That cone's out of the park.
That was a good one.
That's fantastic.
Whoa! Yes!
Got any more of those?
Oh, I wish. That was cool.
How cool was that? I mean, those airbags must have shot the cones like 50 feet in the air.
Well, yeah, that's because technically they are explosives, which is ironic because they're meant to save your life, but they go off right in your face. But what happens is sensors on the car detect a crash, they ignite the airbag, which inflates a nylon fabric bag full of gas in a split second.
One thing's for sure, these firefighters have failed to hose down speculation about this myth.
These things are powerful. I mean, I could see how this whole thing might work.
All right, let's get going.
You can get some lock picks on the way home.
When a cowboy's hat takes a bullet in Hollywood, it takes flight like a startled bird. Does the science stack up, or are those hats flying in the face of physics? Our own Butch and Sundance aim to find out.
Are you ready?
And as we know, the Mythbusters always feel right at home on the range.
What happened? He must be Frank.
That's my name.
Frank Tabor is a Wild West firearms aficionado.
Good morning. How you
Frank's wagon contains an arsenal of archaic weapons.
This is a 4440 Colt. This is an 1888 manufacturer Smith & Wesson top brake. This is a Colt Pump Lightning. This one's about 1900.
Has anyone ever shot your hat off?
One time I was at a competition and my hat blew down range and everybody online shot it to pieces. Just blew it up.
Frank has bought so many options for us, from long rounds, short rounds, black powder, smokeless, rifles.
Let's do it.
Our Hollywood hard guys use handguns, so Adam and Jamie select an 1860 Army Colt revolver. If that doesn't work, they'll try a Winchester lever-action rifle.
I love that.
The weapons are authentic. The 8 target hats match those worn by real cowboys in the real Wild West.
Nice high crown. Should be easy to shoot and miss the head. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's pretty darn good. All right. You want to take the first shot?
Sure.
First up, the oldest firearm, the revolver.
Range is hot.
That was perfect. Right through the top.
Didn't take it off.
No, it cocked it a little bit to the side.
The bullet left the muzzle at 750 feet per second. In bullet terms, that's not fast. But it was still fast enough to drill a neat hole straight through the crown.
You got a lot of leverage out of that. See, the bullet went in here and tore out through the top. Again, it was moving a lot of material. Okay, here comes the Winchester.
Nice shot.
Look at that, right through the center. That did not budge the hat. It could not be a more perfect shot.
The hat didn't take off, but it's way too early to call it busted.
This is the Charles Bronson Once Upon a Time in the West hat. You ready?
Ready. Range is hot.
Hey! You knocked the hat off!
Hang on, guys. Let's see the movie footage again. Bullets send these hats sky high. Jamie's shot was slightly less spectacular.
Your hit could not have been more perfect. You went through more material of that hat than any of our hits before. You went through the brim, through the brim, through the brim, and through the brim.
Yeah, but it kind of like fell off sideways.
Yeah, but if you're the guy wearing this hat and someone shoots at you, you're going to say he shot my hat off.
Spurred on.
Find the red lady. Find the red lady. It pays $20.
Our gunslingers take pot shots at their whole hat collection.
Right between the eyes.
But those brims hardly budge. And the reason is simple. When it strikes the hat, a small projectile traveling at around 1,000 feet per second doesn't encounter enough resistance and rips straight through the material. So the question is, what does it take to flip the lid on this myth? Time to pelt the felt with something a little more powerful. Now that's more like what we see on the silver screen.
All the pellets went in here. All the pellets came out there.
The birdshot sprays out at a slower speed, striking a larger surface area. The force is enough to make hat and head part company. There's one tiny problem.
But it doesn't quite leave you able to tell the tale. I mean...
Looks like he's got an acne problem right now.
The dummy's forehead looks like a lunar landscape.
Oh, I think that's a record.
That hat is gone! He's definitely not going around going, and then he shot the hat right off my head. Because it'll also be like, then he shot the top of my head right off my head.
It's looking like this first cowboy myth might need to be run out of town on a rail.
Yeah, you know, that was fun. We culled from 15 guns down to the 3 we thought were most likely. We had 8 different hats, some 25 to 30 different shooting tests.
Yep, and the only one that consistently shot off the hat was a shotgun.
Yeah, but I think that's it's going a little far to say it shot off the hat, because I believe a good portion of your head would be going with that hat. I think we can definitively say that the movie myth that someone can fire a gun and your hat flies off your head, totally busted.
Could an expanding airbag send a lockpick through a person's skull?
2, 1.
Well, we've seen an airbag launch a traffic cone weighing several pounds. So what might it do to a thin sliver of metal?
In order to test this myth, we're gonna need to get some car doors with side airbags, and we'll get some lock picks and see if we can set off the airbags with them.
Yeah, but if this actually works, I think it'll be too dangerous for any of us to do.
Even for him?
Yeah, even for him. I think we should make a robot.
A robot? That's an original.
Shocking. I would have never guessed you wanted to build a robot.
Yeah. Well, hey, we don't have any trained monkeys, so we're gonna have to use a robot.
I don't know about no trained monkeys, but here's what we might loosely call the plan. Grant will build a pair of remote-controlled hands to operate the lockpick. A ballistics material baddie boasting a real human skull will be leaning over the tool. When the airbag deploys, we'll see whether it's curtains for our car thief. While Grant gets to grips with his robotic robber,
Danger, Will Robinson, danger! Warning, warning!
Carrie's going headhunting.
To properly test the lockpick of death myth, I really feel like I need a real human skull. A casting just isn't going to give me the same sort of information. So, come to the bone room, because I know that they have a lot of skulls here. Do you think it's possible for a lockpick to be shot through a human head, just from the force of an airbag?
There's parts on the skull that are fairly delicate. You know, the nose, inside the eyes, but underneath is pretty solid.
Yeah, this is, you know, there's a lot more here than I'd expected.
Yeah, I mean, your brain's pretty well protected.
Now she's going to make like the Wizard of Oz and give him a brain.
This is sort of a gory myth, the idea of a lockpick shooting through your head. So I'm gonna make a little bit of blood and a little bit of brain that I can stuff up into this cavity here. And that way, whoops, he's fine. If the skull gets damaged anyway, we'll know.
Carrie mixes up some fake blood, and for the old gray matter,
Well, that looks a little like brain, doesn't it? Just a little.
now that's using your noodle. When Carrie's finished filling his head with nonsense,
Brains are made of noodles.
she puts the skull inside the Grant mold
I think this skull might have been a little bigger than Grant's head.
and pours ballistic gel around it.
I just can't tell if it's leaking out or not.
Meanwhile, the real Grant is still wrestling with his robot.
Lockpick sits right here in between two grippy hands with ballistics material fingers. Those are held securely in 2 linear actuators that will move basically in a straight line like this or angling like that.
So we've got a ballistics gel car thief, complete with human skull.
Yeah!
And we've got a remote-controlled lock-picking robot. Now, we just need a car to break into.
Are we sure that the airbags in here are actually operational?
I think they've already been set off, to be honest.
No, Tori, the side airbag hasn't been deployed. We just don't know if it can still fire. Mechanic Thomas Hannon runs a complete diagnostic check and, not surprisingly, finds plenty of faults.
Now, for this myth, we're focusing on the side impact airbags. Will those faults inhibit the system from firing those?
No, they shouldn't.
So the side airbag should still work. Question is, can a lockpick set it off? Remember, the myth states that an airbag inflates with enough force to send a lockpick boring through bone. Grant's robot is wrestled into position.
Okay, just gonna get the tip inserted here Too dangerous for the whole lockpick. So that's what this myth is all about.
Using the remote control, Grant plunges the lockpick deep into the door.
Okay, so that is as deep as it can go in there.
Finally, enter our car thief, ready for a little grand theft auto. His head's placed directly above the lockpick.
That's perfect, man.
It's right under his chin.
Okay.
All right, let's see if you can fire off this airbag.
Okay, guys, lockpick of death. Are you ready?
If this works, we're going to get a lockpick shooting through the guy's skull like a spear, and there's going to be blood and udon everywhere.
Here we go.
Grant goes fishing.
It's got to be really hard to pick a lock when you can't feel or see it yourself.
Nah. I hooked something. Check it out.
Wait. Looks like it got away.
Remember, he's not trying to unlock the door. It's all about triggering the airbag.
You getting frustrated?
Frustration,
Because I am.
But the airbag doesn't deploy, and the dummy's chin is still in one piece.
You know, on the surface, this myth does seem feasible. Our researchers found 5 different cases on the internet where this happened. 2 of them were guys trying to steal the cars. 3 of them were cops trying to move cars which were blocking fire escapes.
On closer inspection, though, there's absolutely no hard evidence for one of these stories. There's no news reports, there's no police reports, it's all hearsay.
You know what else? Some of the cars that were mentioned don't even have side airbags.
Dubious at best.
Grant decides to let his robot get rough.
Well, let me get a little bit more vigorous.
Yeah, that's good, because if you were breaking into a car, you probably would be a little more frantic about it.
Grant gives the remote control unit a thorough thumbing, with no result.
I think I've pretty much done the entire range of motion, back and forth, up, down. I think if it was gonna set it off, it would have set off the airbag by now.
I think any fireman would have opened the door by now, and definitely a criminal would have.
Thomas, how come we're not able to set off the airbag?
The airbag's actually inside the car, not inside the door.
Well, what they have to do is... Wait a second. What did you say?
The airbag's actually inside the car, not inside the door.
So you knew this all along, and this is what you're expecting? You watch us bumble around with this?
Yeah, I was pretty certain that the airbag would not deploy.
Well, okay then.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Breaking out of jail. Tell us the story.
Okay. Picture me having been put in jail wrongly by a corrupt sheriff under the pay of a local land baron. I'm rotting away in my cell, and you've got to break me out. So in the middle of the night, you come on your horse, you tie one end of a rope to the bars of my jail cell and the other end of your horse, and you pull the bars right out of my jail cell wall, setting me free.
When you're locked up in a low-down, filthy cell, what are you gonna do? Easy. Tie a rope onto the bars, lasso your horse, and get that trusty steed to back on up. Them bars are just gonna pop on out of the wall, and you're free as a bird. Well, that's how it's done on the silver screen, anyhow.
So where do you want to start with this breaking out of jail myth?
Well, first I think we need to learn a thing or two about Old West jails.
Fair enough. Then we'll replicate what we learned about, put them all to the test.
In fact, there's a historic Old West jail nearby in Monterey.
Let's check it out.
Jesse James Heinemann's come for a peek at a period prison.
Now, this particular one was built in 1854, and I hope we'll learn a thing or two about how these jails were made.
Conducting today's tour, local historian Jim Conway.
We do have a jail that was built between 1854 and 1855, so it's one of the oldest jails in California.
And one of the most secure. It was a state-of-the-art fortress.
Wow, that's a door.
Not one prisoner ever escaped. And you can see why.
These would be the jail windows to the cells.
Those sure ain't windows of opportunity.
Made out of plate steel. There's no bars there.
There's no bars.
Oh, that's a problem.
The roof is actually granite also, and the floor is granite.
So it's like several feet of granite everywhere.
That's correct.
Bummer.
Besides, you'd have to be thinner than a consumptive coyote to squeeze out through there.
This is just a slit. I mean, it's solid granite. There's a slit. There's a bar right here that goes floor to ceiling. And then outside of that, there's plate steel. It's like, you're not getting through this.
Thanks for the look-see, Jim. But the MythBusters might be needing something a little more, well, rustic.
So what'd you come up with on your reconnaissance mission?
There were bars on that jail, but they were on the inside. I mean, there was nothing on the exterior of that jail to tie onto. There's no way a horse is going to do anything.
Well, we are in luck because while you were gone, the researchers found us, I think, something that's ideal for our needs. Fort Dodge, just outside of Dodge City, an original frontier jail built solely out of railroad ties.
Is that it?
That's it. It's got a 1-foot window with 4 steel bars in it. They don't go floor to ceiling. They're only augured in about an inch, inch and a half under the top and the bottom. And as you can see, it's like the perfect size for us.
Works for me.
We can totally build this and we can totally try and destroy it.
Okay.
The weeds around these parts might not tumble, but this old abandoned military base sure has the feel of a ghost town. That is, till the MythBusters ride.
Yeehaw! Grind 'em, cowboy.
We're gonna build a jail frontier style out of railroad ties. We're gonna auger some bars into a small window, and Jamie and I are gonna try to break out of that jail.
Using authentic building materials, the MythBusters set about replicating the Fort Dodge jail.
All right, so I'm thinking, the jail we're trying to replicate had a window that's about 12 inches square. These beams are just a little over 6 inches high. Window maybe about 18 inches wide, 2 beams high.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Now I'm in a rhythm. Woo! Oh my God. I'm gonna be sore tomorrow.
It's basic frontier construction. No mortar, no nails, just a round peg and a round hole.
Now, I know you might be yelling at your TV right now that this doesn't look like a jail that you've been to, but this is an exact replica of the Fort Dodge jail built in 1865. Now, we didn't construct the entire jail. We just constructed one wall, which we braced with steel, but the bars are an accurate spacing, they're accurate size, they're accurate material, and we're gonna try and pull them out of that wall.
For this myth to be true, our horse or horses need to be able to yank these bars out of this window here and create enough of a space for our prisoner to actually escape.
Now, we know from watching countless westerns that a horse is much more than a mode of transport. The cowboy and his horse share an unbridled love. But could they join forces to stage a jailbreak? Luckily, a couple of hombres are willing to let Adam and Jamie use their trusty steeds to test this cowboy cliche.
You must be our cowboy that's gonna help us break out of jail.
That's correct. I'm Old Buckaroo.
Old Buckaroo, Adam?
Ozark Outlaw.
Ozark Outlaw. Who are these guys?
This is Snaky Poo, the Wonder Horse.
Hey, handsome, how you doing? And this guy?
This is Sully. He's a 17-year-old rope horse.
Our own horse whisperer is going to saddle up for the first jailbreak attempt.
I'd love to attach a scale between the bars and you and the horse so I can tell how many pounds of force you're putting on pulling those bars out with the horse.
Okay, well, let's set it up.
All right.
You got it, or you need my help?
Nope, you can stay right there.
All right. Where do you want to go?
Adam throws a rope around the bars and ties the other end to a force gauge. A second rope links the force gauge to Jamie's saddle.
All right, so are we ready?
Whenever you're ready, sir.
Remember, this is what we want to happen. The horse backs up, and it's bye-bye jail bars. Let's see, partners. Can steed beat steel?
All right, let's break me out of jail.
Come on, boy. That's it. Come on.
Jamie gets Snaky Poo to back on up.
Back.
The horse strains against the rope, but those bars ain't so much as bending.
He's only putting about 400 pounds on it.
400 pounds right to the saddle.
This, you know, the saddle wants to go one way or another. It's not designed to do anything other than hold a person on there. And it was in the process of pulling the saddle off.
Next up, 2 cowboys on the bars.
All right, cowboys, break me out of jail.
We got ourselves 2 lots of heaving horseflesh.
Out of jail there. Come on, come on.
But it looks like our inmate is staying in for the evening.
Well, we're up to about 500 pounds.
Actually, we just busted 500 pounds.
Maybe we need to use something other than a horse. In
Yes.
fact, I got something over here that I think we can, we might be able to do a little bit more than that.
Jamie wheels out some, yes, you guessed it, modern horsepower.
What we've got here is a machine that actually weighs as much as a single good-sized horse, and we don't have to worry about yanking the saddle off of it or breaking the horse's back or something like that. We can actually get it rolling and jerk on these bars a little.
As long as we're using the power of a horse to break out of jail, we can talk about horsepower, a term invented in 1782 by James Watt, who actually also invented the term the watt, an electrical unit.
Yeah, Watt based his measurement on the amount of work that a horse could do with a millstone or a mill wheel. And it amounted to lifting 33,000 pounds 1 foot in 1 minute.
Now, that's not to say that a single horse is always producing a single horsepower. It's been shown that horses in peak loads for a few seconds can put out as much as 15 horsepower.
Yeah, and for reference, the ATV we were using had about 18 horsepower. The forklift had about 125. And not that it's really relevant, but it's interesting anyway. A human can put out about 0.1 horsepower for a long period of time, about 0.3 if he's an athlete, and put out as much as 1.2 horsepower for a very brief period.
So now that we're all clear on horsepower, the rope is attached to the all-terrain vehicle, and Jamie digs in his spurs.
What was that?
Well, you got it to 900 pounds, but then the rope broke. I think we're gonna need a stronger rope.
900 pounds. That's almost twice the amount of horse force our 4-legged friends were able to generate.
The better blue rope.
This rope is rated for 6,000 pounds.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Seems like the guys are just spinning their wheels.
What did we get up to?
I think we broke 1,000 pounds there. I think you put like 1,200 pounds on it. Well, our modern 4x4 horseless carriage was able to put on well more than double the amount of pulling force that 2 horses did. And still, our jail is in place. And we exceeded what our scale can measure. So it's time to bump up to a new scale. And we have one more vehicle, I think, which we can test this myth with. I think this ought to do. So the sling on the bar is rated 16,000 pounds. The scale can measure for 20,000 pounds.
That thing weighs about 28,000 pounds.
I'd say we've got enough force to apply to this myth.
Cowboys had their horses. Jamie has a giant mechanical workhorse. Will this rip out the bars and set our friend free? The sling goes taut. Once again, the bars don't buckle. But the steel beams supporting the wall do.
Those bars aren't going anywhere.
And the whole structure starts to come
The
down.
wall failed at 4,000 pounds, and the bars haven't budged.
4,000 pounds is a lot of horses. That's a lot more than what we see in the movies.
Well, this is the most makeshift jail that our researchers could turn up for this myth. Well, I guess I'm still stuck in jail. My avocado crop's gonna rot.
Whoa, not so fast, Adam. We're not ready to give up on a Wild West prison break just yet. After trying in vain to trigger some airbag bloodshed with a lockpick,
What is it doing?
the MythBusters have discovered that a side airbag is not actually inside the car door. It's in the car, hidden behind the upholstery.
This is the airbag.
Okay, well, it seems that jiggling around the lockpick isn't enough to set off the airbag. This one is looking busted.
Not so fast. Now, we know that airbags are set off by impact. What if the crook is creating his own impact? Like he gets really mad and starts kicking the door.
That is a great idea. But I think it's too dangerous for any one of us to kick the door. So what I'll do is I'll modify the sword swinging rig and turn it into a kicking machine.
Yeah, super kicking rig.
I like it.
So, scenario B. Unable to break into the car, our frustrated felon kicks the door, and that impact triggers the airbag, really giving him a problem to get his head around. This air-powered rig has been used to swing swords and heft hammers. Now, the shoe's on the other foot.
Who's gonna lose their teeth today? We need to make sure our rig is calibrated to what a human can actually kick.
Carrie and Tori take turns sinking the boot into a force plate.
Anytime, actually. That's, you peaked at 485 newtons.
Imagine what a guy could do if I had steel toes.
You ready?
Yep.
Ooh, that's a good one.
You peaked at 1,056 newtons, more than twice what Carrie did.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I think I might have done twice as much damage to my foot.
1,000 newtons of force. That's what the kick rig has to match. Air pressure of 25 pounds per square inch will get the job done.
So we're gonna keep the head in place, we're gonna keep the lockpick in place, and now we're gonna bring in a machine to do a little kicking.
Is 1,000 newtons of force enough to set off a side airbag? Is the lockpick about to burrow into our dummy's brain? They're about to take a punt. Well, the rig is.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, we just dented the car door.
The airbag didn't deploy, the lockpick didn't launch. That dummy's still got his head together, man.
I say we ramp it up from 25 to 125. Yeah.
So way beyond anything any human could possibly do.
Superhuman.
Carrie ups the air pressure to 125 psi.
Oh, we're closing in on 100.
That boot's about to get 5 times more forceful.
What happened?
Nothing.
Did he kick himself in the head?
The car might not be intact, but the car thief's only a little shaken up.
Well, kicking the door does not set off the airbag.
In any way at all. And that was its superhuman strength.
As a last resort, they rigged the airbag to go off remotely, with the lockpick and the dummy in position, just to see what would happen.
2, 1.
And there you have it. Lockpick and airbag are not in the same vicinity.
It takes an automotive impact of tremendous strength. There's no human way to do it. You need to strike the vehicle with G-forces in excess of 8 Gs. That's a lot of energy.
So this one's double busted. And not only can a lockpick not set off a side impact airbag, but an impact from a human can't set it off either.
Well, the airbag is deploying inside the car. The direction is not up towards the lockpick, so the lockpick would never get launched into your skull. It's busted.
Well, that means it's my favorite part of the myth. This is where we get to replicate the results. I did not make those brains for nothing.
So to pick our car thief's brain once and for all, the plan is to, yes, build an air cannon that'll fire that lockpick straight into the dummy's skull.
To get this lockpick up to lethal velocity, we're going to need as much air as possible going through here as quickly as we can.
The lockpick is set in a foam sabot, which fits snugly down the barrel.
All right, load her in.
There's a chance that the barrel itself might explode.
Once again, the dummy's gonna lead with his chin. He's lined up directly over the barrel.
I would say let's strap it.
Nah, that's good, dude. It's perfect.
Ouch! If that lockpick launches, it just can't miss. But will it be able to pierce solid bone? The cannon's primed with maximum air pressure, 125 psi. Will that be enough to blow the dummy's mind?
This is Lockpick of Death, the final blow.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
top of the head. Dude, it's totally curved to his skull.
Oh, that is it.
It's dripping blood.
That's what you wanted.
I know that an airbag won't do that, but I
Hey.
guess an air gun will.
If ever there was a MythBusters experiment that does what it says on the tin, this is it. The skull is skewered.
Looks like it took 125 PSI for me to meet my demise. Now that's so far out of the realm of reality, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you know, the whole idea of, you know, in the middle of breaking into a car, the airbag going off and launching the lockpick into your head, I mean, it's just busted.
It's busted.
It's busted like me.
Outside of a cinema, there's no way a horse can muster enough horsepower to pull the bars clean out of the jail wall.
Maybe we need to use something other than a horse.
But Adam and Jamie haven't given up hope of staging a breakout.
Those bars aren't going anywhere.
In their final Western myth, they'll try to remove the bars using a stick of dynamite. Question is, can you blow a hole in the wall that's big enough to crawl through without harming the incarcerated cowboy?
Well, we've come out to the Alameda County Sheriff's bomb range to do this experiment. And we're going to build a real frontier jail. 3 walls. The last wall, you know, is for the bars, the sheriff's office. Out of railroad ties, and we're going to try out the equivalent of a stick of dynamite and see if that'll break me out.
Explosives expert Sergeant J.D. Nelson has grave doubts about this movie myth. And I mean grave.
Well, I think you could definitely get in the jail. Now, whether you can do that without killing somebody that's in the cell is a whole other story.
Well, that's what we're here to find out.
Once again, they'll base their design on the Fort Dodge jail. Things are moving quicker than a whiskey shot along a saloon bar. Before you know it, they've built themselves 3 walls and a barred window.
This is like a really cool sadistic playhouse. Percentages on dynamite breaking your friend out of prison? I don't think it's gonna, well, hey, get back in there. All right. I don't think it's gonna work, personally. I give it about a 20% chance of actually working, a 60% chance of damaging the wood until we have to replace it, and a 20% chance that something we did not foresee will flummox us completely. Get back in there!
For this myth to be true, we need to blow out these bars or the window around them without killing the guy inside the jail, and we need to create a big enough hole that he can actually fit through it.
Obviously, neither Adam or Jamie will be in the cell when the charge goes off.
I'm come to bust you out, little buddy. You just sit tight and plug your ears.
It'll be Buster's job to get banged up. It looks like the vigilantes have already got to him.
Buster, if you don't want to do the time, you don't do the crime.
Now, if you were in a jail cell and dynamite was about to go off at the window, where would be the safest spot?
I think we should turn him over and have him sitting up in the corner. That's where I'd want to be if there was dynamite coming in the window, like against this wall, don't you think?
Yeah.
Buster should be out of the firing line if the cell's showered with shrapnel. Shock watch stickers on his chest and head will measure the force of the blast. Red registers a shock of 50 Gs, which is survivable. Orange is a bone-splintering 75 Gs. Green trips at a lethal 100 Gs.
50, 75, and 100, all inside of his face. So the theory here is if he sustains any kind of lethal shockwave G load, we should be able to see it in the shock watch stickers.
That's it.
Our stick of dynamite isn't actually dynamite. It's a secret explosive compound that's more stable than the real thing.
Right, it has the same properties as dynamite, it has the same feet per second. In fact, I even have it disguised as dynamite.
The charge is laid.
Don't you try and break out now.
And the team hightails it to a safe distance. Will Buster be busted out of jail, or will our detainee be detonated?
Okay, we're gonna blow ourselves out of jail with one stick of dynamite in 3, 2, 1.
Look at that. Well, the jail's still there.
The jail is definitely still there.
Let's go look.
Let's check it out. What do you think? You think the bars are still there?
The blast doesn't look to have done a whole lot of damage. Not by MythBusters standards, anyway.
Some of those bars are coming out of there.
Dude, wait. Don't pull from there.
Why?
Let's see if I can get out from inside. One bar, gone.
Adam makes like Doc Holliday pulling out some loose teeth.
There you go. That's it. Okay, here you go. Now, I'm gonna try and climb out. Here, take my hat.
The bars may be gone, but is that wide open space wide enough for Adam's abdomen?
How much were you going to bet me whether you can get through there or not?
This is going to be tough.
It's that prison food that's kind of fattened you up. All those beans.
So one stick of dynamite is enough to loosen the bars. And it is possible, eventually, to make it out through the window.
Well, I could totally get out now.
That's 2 ticks for the myth.
Okay, move forward, over here.
Yeah. Form a little table for him.
All right.
Okay.
Freedom!
Hey!
Yes! That was some nice precision demolition there, dude.
But hold your horses, guys. Remember, for this myth to be confirmed, Buster has to have survived that explosion, right?
Buster's totally dead, dude. That's the 100G trip. He did not survive.
He took 100 to the face and he took 75 to the chest.
I'm sorry, Buster.
The concussive force of a single stick of dynamite has saved the hangman the trouble.
You have to keep in mind also that we just barely blew out those bars. That was precision demolition.
Yeah.
You could not have him escape through that hole with any less explosion, and that explosion killed him. This actually worked perfectly. It worked just like we planned, but in my mind, this is silly as heck. You killed your buddy, and furthermore, with all this ordeal with dynamite and, noise and potentially killing your buddy, it would have taken me about 5 minutes with an axe to dig a hole like this.
Like a frontier town, our final cowboy myth has gone from boom to bust.
So breaking out of an Old West jail turned out to be harder than we thought, huh?
Yeah, personally, I'd rather have one of these than anything that we tried.
Yeah, as far as ropes go, 1 horse didn't work, 2 horses didn't work, and even our 30,000-pound hauler didn't successfully remove the bars from the wall.
Yeah, and we chose our design of a frontier jail as specifically the one that was most vulnerable to having its bars pulled out.
Yep, and explosives, they removed the bars okay, but...
You're not leaving that jail through the window, you're leaving in a pine box.
Yeah, myth busted.
So our 2 techniques that you've seen in the movies for busting your buddy out of jail, totally busted.
Coming up, something near and dear to our hearts.
Movie myths, ones that we've done and ones that we're gonna do.
It's the MythBusters Hollywood Special.
It's lights, camera, action. As the MythBusters go Hollywood.
And there you have a blood bag.
And pull the curtain back on a few myths straight off the silver screen.
Dude, our robot worked!
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
And Jamie Heineman.
I kind of like it in here, it's private.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
That was intense.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
So what are we gonna do?
Well, we're going to look back at some of the Hollywood myths we've already tested on the show.
And with the help of our build team, we're gonna put some of the Hollywood staples that we haven't yet done to the test.
And we're going to introduce you to an old friend of ours and the newest member of the MythBusters team.
We gotta build a robot 20 hours, okay? Robots got to shoot projectiles and breathe flames.
I'm Grant Imahara. I've been in the visual effects industry for about 9 years now. Worked on 8 features so far, dozens of commercials. My specialty is electronics, anything that lights up or moves.
Like this big screen icon.
What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, it's just cylinder and some dome and find some car parts.
All right.
Grant Imahara is somebody that I've worked with for years, and I usually consult with him on anything that's a little over my head regarding electronics.
He is able to almost instantaneously grasp a concept or technique and apply it to what he's doing right away and be able to get results with that.
But before Grant helps bust his first big screen myth, let's take a look back at one of Adam and Jamie's favorites.
I've got 2 feet of water in here now.
Well, not all of the movie myths we've tested are complete works of fiction. Some of them are actually inspired by real-life events.
And I think we'd all agree that one of the granddaddies of them all, the story that inspired a mythology all its own, is what happened to and on the Titanic.
In this experiment, the boys set out to put one Titanic-sized myth to the test. Would a sinking ship suck you under as it went down? Or was that just Hollywood hype?
Well, apparently the ship moving through the water rapidly towards the bottom will create a vortex above it, kind of like drafting behind a truck when it's on the highway.
To recreate this vortex theory, the MythBusters first needed a boat. Sure, they wanted to sing an actual ocean liner in the open seas, but this was a TV show after all, not the largest grossing movie of all time. So they settled on a 14-ton tugboat for their maiden voyage to the bottom.
It's a nice solid little hunk of steel, and I think it ought to go down like a rock.
Of course, this boat wasn't built to sink, but Jamie fixed that.
We're gonna go cut some holes in the boat.
An inspired name change was made, the ill-fated vessel launched, and the anxious passengers loaded. The moment of truth.
They're only opening one valve.
I've got 2 feet of water in here now.
Okay, be careful, it might roll and you get caught. It's gonna roll, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna go this way. There you go.
Better be careful. Stay with it, stay with it. There you go. Whoa! Nope. Didn't suck you down, did it? I didn't see nobody get sucked in.
No suction.
No suction at all. I mean, I could not have been more central to the boat where it went down. I sat on it, the entire boat just dropped underneath me, and I hit the water, my neck hit the water, and I never went any lower. So I say let's get this puppy back up and call it a day. I need a drink.
So the Titanic myth? Well, it went down with the ship.
Hollywood's always trying to jazz things up to make things real spectacular. But sometimes when we get into a myth, the truth actually turns out to be stranger than fiction.
Like our Alcatraz escape.
The spoon proves mightier than the bars at supposedly escape-proofed Alcatraz prison.
Alcatraz, the most notorious prison in the entire U.S. and inspiration for one of the greatest escape movies ever. But did the real-life escapees, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, really pull it off?
The escape triggered the greatest manhunt in San Francisco's history, as agents of the FBI, Coast Guardsmen, Highway Patrol, sheriff's deputies, and local police join in the search.
To separate fact from Hollywood fiction, the MythBusters broke in to break out.
Welcome to the Rock.
Officially, the escapees drowned and disappeared while fighting the currents north to Angel Island in their makeshift raft.
It does look like it's more aggressive on this side.
But the MythBusters had another theory. What if the trio had used the currents to carry them west to the Marin Headlands instead? To find out, they needed to stage an escape of their own. So, based on the FBI files, they built replicas of the prisoners' paddles.
One prison escape paddle.
And a raincoat raft.
That's a boat. I'm really impressed with these prison guys.
And set sail for destiny.
I'll go in first.
You go, Jamie. It's all you, buddy.
Oh, Jamie, you're the man, baby. Oh.
Intern Will Abbott played Frank Morris.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. I got it.
I got one paddle.
Okay, we're off.
We're escaping!
Every 10 minutes, they had to reinflate the raft. But the MythBusters made it, paddling a raincoat raft more than 3 miles through the bay's treacherous tides.
This is so cool!
Making landfall just east of the Golden Gate Bridge.
We made it!
Neither the media nor the movie provided a definitive answer as to the escapees' fate.
Beautiful, man.
Good job, guys.
Good job.
But the MythBusters knew one thing for sure.
We know that it could have been done, which is cool.
It's time for Grant Imahara to bust his first myth. The newest member of the MythBusters team will use his special effects skills to replicate a Hollywood classic. Sort of.
Well, it's not really a myth. It's a special effects technique in Hollywood that we're trying to duplicate.
I mean, you know, like in all these Hollywood movies, you see people shooting up cars or houses, and you see these crazy sparks flying all over the place. It doesn't happen.
But Grant knows how Hollywood makes those sparks fly. They load paintballs with real charges, known as spark loads.
In Hollywood, they have a custom plastic shell. Comes in 2 halves, male and female, and you put all your stuff in, put them together, and glue around the seam.
Sounds easy enough, but can the build team replicate the effect using ordinary fireworks for their own amateur movie?
We have 4 different types of kind of fireworks that we're going to be playing with. We got sparklers. These are the fun snaps. You just throw them down and the friction lights them off.
Those are good. Dance, Belachi, dance, dance!
Now these are probably one of my favorites. You just pull the string and they pop.
Now, this is dangerous, so don't try it yourself. Tori dissects the string poppers. Grant shaves the sparklers. And Carrie unravels the fun snaps.
MythBusters have made projectiles before, right?
Oh, yes, several times. Like the ice bullet.
Here's your ammo. This is ballistic H2O. It's an ice projectile, velocity of 3,000 feet per second, and an accuracy of up to 500 yards. No exit wound. The bullet's gonna melt inside the target.
Ice projectiles.
In the action thriller Most Wanted, a bullet made of ice killed the First Lady cold. But could a bullet really be created to deliver its deadly payload and then magically disappear without leaving any trace of ballistic evidence behind? To find out, the MythBusters crafted a few magic bullets of their own. Round 1, the ice bullet. But getting the bullet out of the mold proved to be a problem.
You know, it didn't come out all in one piece because it's very brittle. We don't want to break it before we get it in the gun.
So he moved on to round 2, the meat bullet. The brilliance behind this beefy slug? Upon impact, you wouldn't be able to distinguish ballistics from body parts.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go take a look.
Too much ballistic evidence, too little damage.
So some of it went out.
Oh.
Last but not least, round 3, a bullet made of gelatin and coated in red dye.
This is looking really promising because it's not at all brittle. There we go. 3, 2, 1.
It was a bigger boom.
But still, no payoff.
It went in about an inch.
It appeared that any substance capable of melting inside a human body was simply too fragile to do much damage. Another Hollywood myth was shot down. Things are heating up nicely for the build team.
Directly into the capsules.
We got more of those, right?
They're filling paintballs with fireworks to demonstrate how Hollywood makes ricocheting bullets spark, something that doesn't happen in real life.
Yep. This is a 5-pop snap spark ball. What could possibly go wrong? Ready?
How about too much pressure in the paintball gun?
I think it went off in the barrel.
Yep.
Because all I saw was flash as char coming out.
I mean, we're using low-grade Chinatown pop snaps and sparklers. I think that maybe, since we've already taken it down to this level, we could just throw them.
Okay. Maybe that's how they do it in Hollywood. Really?
Not really. Grant really wants that gun to work, and after a little tinkering, at long last, sparks.
That looked pretty good.
That looks good.
For a cheap solution for bullet sparks, I think we found it.
True, in real life, bullets don't spark when they ricochet.
How about a target?
Oh gosh.
But in Hollywood, everything is affected for the big screen.
Okay, you guys ready? Here we go.
That's how they do it in Hollywood? I'm happy.
Well, it's not
That's
how
the
they do it.
MythBuster version of how they do it in
how they do it in Hollywood, but
You know, Hollywood's given us an awful lot of myths, and a lot of them involve what I'd call faulty physics.
I mean, like this one, when some cop is supposed to be able to kick his way through a locked door. I'm just not sure it's possible. Are you ready to try?
I'm ready.
We've got the 4 locks here. You've got your hotel chain, your hotel bar, your basic deadbolt, and then the doorknob lock, which is probably the weakest of all. I was thinking we start with all 4 and then slowly remove them, and then we'll see if we can get through.
Okay.
We may blow the whole home security thing wide open here.
Earlier, the build team framed this solid core wood door to code. It's not pretty, but it's built to last.
So, big guy, test number 1, all 4 locks.
Okay.
Fire at will. It's all up to you.
Do I get another try?
you're a madman.
Nice work. Busted shoulder.
I think I'm going to have a bruise.
Really?
And a busted door.
Well, you've split the whole wooden jam right down the middle, right at the deadbolt.
Kind of looks like I'm going to make it through it, doesn't it?
Well, I wonder what's going to happen with these two. I don't think those are going to hold you back. We're going to wait for Jamie to build his chi back up again. And then he's going to make a second run at the very same door, unaltered from the first test, to see if after a couple of pounds he can get all the way through the door. The physics that we're dealing with aren't as faulty and as far-fetched as we originally thought.
Unlike some of the other stories that we've done, like rear axle.
In the film American Graffiti, some wily teenagers played a prank on an unsuspecting police officer by looping a cable around a pole and attaching it to his rear axle. Our very own overgrown teenagers wanted to see if they could pull the prank off too. So they borrowed a replica police cruiser, rigged it with a remote control, and lashed 75 feet of steel cable.
So I'm going to drop it about 4 feet from the pole over here and assemble it.
To a sturdy anchor on one end.
Here we go.
And the rear axle on the other.
Yeah. Isn't television glamorous? All right.
Wired and ready.
Get ready to goose the throttle.
Our police car was off in hot pursuit. But no cable slowed him down.
That's spectacular. I should point out that the cable has a braking load of 15,000 pounds. Big cable, bigger than even I thought was the one used in the movie. Still snapped. It's a standard Ford chassis, not dissimilar at all from what they had back then. I would say right there, myth busted.
And speaking of busted, Jamie still has to bust Hollywood's busting the door down myth.
Is your chi ready?
Will he get all the way through on round 2? Or round 3?
Wait. You've actually split the framework of the door here.
Cool.
I don't know what to say, actually. I'm kind of shocked.
It's plain old physics, you know. You get 185 pounds going fairly fast at a piece of wood and metal that's like this big. And it actually makes sense now that I've done it.
We started out with 4 locks. The only thing left is the hotel lock here, which we can see the screws are already pulling out, and then the measly little girly man chain lock. And that's it.
I'm guessing, 1 or 2 more tries might get me through. Well, I got the 3rd one, but it's the chain one that...
The chain's holding.
Guess that chain lock isn't so girly after all.
The chain lock would have gone, and I'm about to pull through the washer on it.
One more go, big boy.
Well, in the meantime, while you're getting your chi back up for another run, let's look at appliances in the bathtub.
Ah, the old appliance in the bathtub. Sure, it's shockingly effective killing folks on the big screen, but how about in real life? To find out, the boys rounded up a few pre-loved appliances.
Here's a radio.
What about this?
It's exactly the television we need.
They'll soak in Tori's test tub back at the shop. But unlike your ordinary tub, this one had an electric current flowing through it.
This is an amp reader. The ground is going to go through that so we can read our amps.
And a bather made from ballistics gel.
I think we're good. Let's do it.
If the current passing through the heart hit 6 milliamps and the flash pot triggered, they knew their bather was cooked.
3, 2.
That was cool.
Is that good?
First up, or should we say in, was the hairdryer.
All right, give me the countdown, baby.
Okay, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drop.
What are you reading, Jamie? I'm seeing 8.5 milliamps here across the heart.
This one is dead as a dodo. Well over the threshold.
Next up, toaster. What? Whoa.
Our friend here was toast.
Oh yeah, 12 milliamps. That's very lethal, totally lethal. Toasters, no good. Next item, one of my personal favorites.
The curling iron. Let's go.
3, 2, 1. We've got 4.5 milliamps at the heart. It means the rest of your body is going to be like lethal doses 6 milliamps.
I think I wouldn't want to be in there with that.
And now the iron, or as we refer to it around here, Fierro de los Muertos. Wow, that's the highest spike yet. We got 32 milliamps. This thing is literally pumping death into our subject here.
32 milliamps. That was more than 5 times the lethal limit.
Big spike. That'd be huge. You'd be toast. You'd fry. You'd boil.
4 appliances, 4 electrocutions. The verdict on this Hollywood myth was no shocker. In 3 attempts at busting down their test door, Jamie's not only destroyed 3 of the 4 locks, he's pretty much left the door in splinters. Surprisingly, only the dainty chain lock remains. For now.
One lock.
Come on, man!
Break it away.
So little is holding that on.
It's the screw head.
Okay. Like I said, it's all an intellectual exercise at this point.
Yeah.
Turns out Jamie couldn't get through the last lock because the build team didn't use the hardware that came with the chain. They used their own, stronger screws.
I think that given that you've made it through 3 of the 4 locks, I'd say we call this absolutely plausible.
Yeah, and there are a lot of guys out there that are bigger and stronger than I am as well.
That's hard to believe.
Bigger, maybe not strong.
But Adam's not one to let a sleeping myth lie.
The pad screwed me.
Better just wrap this one up before anyone else gets hurt.
I'm fine, really.
Today we're actually testing a pretty cool myth. We're going to work on the Tin Man myth from The Wizard of Oz, 1939 movie version, that is. Apparently that the original actor slated to play the Tin Man had an adverse reaction to the aluminum paint and got really, really sick. What they settled on at first was white clown makeup, and then they just dusted this aluminum powder on top of it.
Oh, that is not good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound so healthy.
But he wasn't the last person to have problems with a full-body paint job. Remember when Jamie tried busting the Goldfinger myth?
The story goes that if you paint your whole body with gold paint, your skin will not be able to breathe. The solution to this, supposedly, is to leave a small patch at the base of your spine.
140 over 110 on that arm.
So that means my blood pressure had elevated?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm basically about to become ill. I could say it's almost like I'm a little lightheaded, and I feel.
Let's get that off you then.
Okay.
That myth was busted. Jamie recovered. And with a modified paint job, the next actor to play the Tin Man pulled off his role without a hitch.
And then they changed over with the new actor, Jack Haley, and they made an aluminum paste so you don't have all that airborne dust getting inhaled.
But how would Carrie do? Only one way to find out. She slips into something a bit more comfortable.
Are you ready, Carrie?
And with paramedics standing by.
All right.
Do you want to show us how to mix up the paint?
Yeah.
It's off to see the wizard. The Wizard of Alchemy, that is.
You open up this little jar. It is strictly aluminum powder. It's a really fine metallic dust.
Looks like liquid mercury. Ah,
that's cool.
This particular brand includes a lotion that'll help it stick to the skin. It makes it so it doesn't smear off. And this one jar would probably paint half of my body.
All right. How's your skin feeling?
Fine right now.
No itching?
No itching. A little wet and cold, but other than that, I can still breathe just fine.
Awesome. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, this is so bizarre.
How does it feel otherwise? Can you feel like a coating on your skin?
A little bit. It feels a little bit sticky, but it's really not bad. It's not thick. It's sort of just like a thin coat.
Let's take a break from Tin Woman Carrie and look back at another star-studded metallic myth. Now, here was a myth Adam and Jamie could really sink their teeth into. Was it possible to receive radio transmissions through the fillings in your mouth? America's Queen of Comedy,
Hey, what am I gonna get, a kiss or a quart of milk?
Lucille Ball, believed it was.
I had some dental work to be done. You know, they put in temporary fillings. I was just driving along, and a road that I'd taken many times, and all of a sudden, I heard music. But I mean, with a great beat, you know, and I looked down to turn off my radio, and it wasn't on. And the music was getting louder and louder and louder, and I realized it was in my mouth. And it was beating in my ears. I could hear the tune and everything. I recognized the tune.
One theory behind Lucy's remarkable reception was that if her fillings were made from different metals, they may have acted as a point contact diode.
I recognized the tune.
That's when two metals combine to capture radio frequency.
That's a grody-looking skull.
To see if they could tune into this myth for themselves, the guys fitted a skull with two different types of fillings.
Those are very dried-out teeth.
One amalgam, the other gold.
That is real gold foil.
Then they connected a voltmeter to monitor any change in electrical activity across the fillings.
Let's do it.
And with the help of electrical engineer Frank Hausman, channeled several radio frequencies into the molars.
Now, as I sweep the RF field in that chamber, there's no change in the teeth.
The voltmeter didn't flicker.
So if the teeth were acting as a diode, which is one of the theories about how they might pick up radio, we would see a change in voltage, but we didn't.
Adam, is the myth true or false?
I think definitively we've shown that two different types of fillings do not act as a rudimentary radio crystal.
It's busted.
Okay, we'll call it busted.
Back in Oz, Tin Woman Carrie's metallic makeover is almost done.
How about breaking out in a rash? Look up.
I don't think I am. I've got goosebumps.
They're testing to see whether aluminum-based paint would have the same adverse effects on Carrie that they had on the original Tin Man.
The first man slated for the Tin Man position had painted himself with the aluminum powder and got really sick. Cramped up in all his muscles, stopped breathing, and he ended up in an iron lung. Spent 2 weeks in the hospital and a month in recovery.
Hey, Carrie, how do your lungs feel? Do you feel like you breathed in any aluminum powder?
Well, I mean, I'm sure I've got a few stray particles here and there, but overall, once you mix it into a paste, I think you're past any of the danger zones.
But the paramedics aren't so sure.
Okay, your heart rate's up, 132, and are you getting nervous?
Nervous? About what? Being painted head to toe in silver while wearing nothing more than a shiny bikini on national TV?
Okay, maybe I'm getting nervous.
In front of a whole bunch of people? Why would you be nervous?
You're helping.
Okay, you need to calm down a little bit.
Me?
Yeah, your heart rate's 134. Take a slow breath for me. We're gonna put you on some oxygen.
Okay.
Kind of calm you down a little bit, too.
And just when she thought it couldn't get any worse...
I didn't know we got slave girls. How you doing, sweetie?
Turning into an android. This is the exact stuff that they were using on the Tin Man, which was just a pure aluminum powder.
Now, why are you guys feeding her oxygen?
Her heart rate's gone up.
I didn't realize I was so affected by your teasing.
And you were willing to take that chance for us. You know, that's above and beyond the Call of Duty.
Ah, yes. Whether it's silver or gold, the MythBusters will risk life and limb to get to the truth.
That's much worse than well, I guess the gold paint was supposed to kill you, so technically that might be worse.
The team eases off, so Carrie can get back to baseline.
I can take this off now, yeah?
You can take that
I'm
off.
okay?
With the crisis past, the paint job resumes.
Well, we gotta paint your face just to be sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. That's cool. That's hot.
Here we go.
Carrie.
She's ready to meet Captain Kirk.
Oh my God. The things we will do.
Go for it. Yeah, there you go. This is the coolest thing we've ever done. Dude, our robot worked.
So how long do I have to be in this getup before we consider it a conclusive scientific experiment?
You have to stand there for 1 hour, starting now.
What am I gonna do for an hour like this? I'm not gonna be working with the tools or nothing.
After a quick nap and a clean bill of health,
Well, Carrie, vitals are all good.
Carrie was no worse for wear from her silver lining.
So how do you feel?
Well rested. I had a little nap.
I notice you're alive.
I'm alive. I'm breathing well.
The build team's hard at work attempting to shatter a classic movie myth. Can someone be thrown through a plate glass window and walk away without even a scratch?
We're going to show that it probably is a little bit more painful than that.
Strangely, there are no volunteers for this one. Plan B.
We are about to pour our dummy filled with ballistics gel in order to, have an actual person to throw through a pane of glass.
But first, this dummy's gonna need to be thick-skinned. Latex should do nicely.
Making a nice skin for the outside of our ballistics gel body. Because it will react a little more like human skin. It'll give the glass a little bit more of a resistance than going into the straight gelatin ballistics gel.
The reason why we're doing the white is because that way when we pour in the dark red ballistics gel and then the glass cuts the skin, then we'll have a contrast and we'll see how much damage a body would get if it got thrown through glass.
This is the funnest batch of ballistics gel we've ever got to make because it's bright red, which is going to give it a nice gore factor inside of our little torso.
All right, go ahead and start pouring.
Ready?
Yeah. Ooh, that's pretty cool.
And the pièce de résistance? Fake blood.
If you don't have a big budget, corn syrup and red food coloring.
Sweet, and you can get those at the local supermarket. Okay, so now what are we gonna put the blood in?
We're gonna fill them with condoms, which they use in squib hits. When somebody gets shot, they'll get a condom, fill it up with blood, and then lay it over a hit, or a little explosive, and then that'll shoot out, spraying blood all over the guy.
All right.
And there you have a blood bag. So what we're doing right now is we're hanging these blood bags just below the surface of the ballistics gel. So hopefully the glass will cut through the skin and the ballistics gel, puncturing these and spraying blood all over the place. Hopefully this will show us how much damage a human body would get if going through a pane of glass.
Now they just let the mold set for 24 hours and voila, they've got themselves a volunteer.
Oh God, this mold looks really gruesome.
Dude, we're gonna bust this one wide open.
Just like another classic movie myth that we busted, killer quicksand.
In the movies, quicksand's always a guaranteed killer. But how about in real life? Could it really suck you under? To get to the bottom of this myth, the boys needed one key element first: sand. 20,000 pounds of sand.
That's a lot of sand!
Quicksand is a result of a process called liquefaction. Water rising from under the ground oversaturates the sand or soil, reducing the friction between the particles until they can no longer bear any weight. So, 10 tons of sand, check.
You're good.
Well, how about that?
2,000-gallon pit, check.
Wow, look at the bag drain!
Oh!
And the final killer ingredient, water.
All right, well, the tank is full of sand and water, and we're sort of primed.
Look, it's a white sandy beach. I don't feel any danger at all.
Let's just say Adam's confidence sank when the water pumped in.
Whoa! You know, it feels more dangerous now than I thought. Whoa! Woo, let's go! Well, I started going down really slowly, and then when the water got up to my chest in the sand and water mixture, I kind of felt where I hit my buoyant point, which is just probably right about here.
Like a cork in water, Adam was far less dense than the quicksand, so he simply remained buoyant.
Drown, you bastard.
I think we've created a very realistic scenario for a worst-case scenario quicksand. Look, I got one leg almost. So the MythBusters' final word on Hollywood-style killer quicksand: confirmed, plausible, or busted?
It's absolutely busted. No such thing.
I agree. Completely busted.
The classic movie myth that we're about to test out is, would somebody being thrown through a glass window be able to just dust themselves off, have no cuts, and walk away?
They couldn't find a willing volunteer, so they just cast their own.
All right, let's crack him open. No. It's kind of gruesome, isn't it?
You ain't seen nothing yet.
He's basically white latex skin over red-colored ballistics gel. The reason why we're doing that is when he goes through the glass, hopefully it'll puncture the latex skin and give us a contrast between the white and the red.
But wait, it gets better.
Also, what we have placed inside the ballistics gel are little pockets of blood, and that will also simulate If the glass goes deep enough, hopefully it'll puncture one of those pockets and spray blood.
Now, how do you convince a dummy to jump through a window?
I've made a very simple rig. We're gonna wax or oil up this table so he goes sliding down the table. He's gonna break through this pane of glass and land softly on our table.
Adams popped in for the show.
We're just interested in the effects of the glass on the body. We didn't have a cranium in that head. It couldn't have been expected to break a glass with the same kind of force. That's what the test is about. What happens to you when you get hit by that kind of glass?
This is a bar fight, so it's going to be sliding down like they took him. So
I'm glad you've thought through the whole narrative.
All right, here we go. Okay, everybody.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
That was really great.
That was a beautiful thing.
But how'd the dummy fare?
Any blood burst?
No.
The team's not ready to confirm this myth just yet. They want to see some blood.
So next step?
You might need to get to a 1/4-inch piece of glass.
Thicker glass. I like that.
While they reset the glass, let's take a look back at another classic movie myth the boys tried to bust. Or should we say, bury? In Hollywood horror, the only fate worse than death is being buried alive. But how long could someone survive the confines of a coffin 6 feet under? To find out, the MythBusters buried one of their own.
I don't know if I'm gonna like this too much.
What wasn't to like? A sturdy 20-gauge steel casket, an above-ground burial chamber, several tons of dirt, a team of paramedics, and as an extra precaution, a night vision camera and an emergency supply of oxygen.
I'm a little apprehensive at the moment. I'm hoping that the box won't collapse, but I think it'll be all right.
You ready, Jamie?
Farewell, cruel world.
Bye-bye, Heine man.
I got a fair amount of dirt in here, and it actually crushed the container a little bit.
Roger that. Are you nervous about it? Over.
No, I think I'm fine. It definitely had an effect on the casket, though.
But the weight of the world wasn't Jamie's only pressing concern. He also had to worry about the buildup of deadly CO2 gas.
Oxygen levels?
Oxygen, he's at 98%.
I imagine my heart's beating a little faster than it was on the test, over.
You'd be correct about that. It's at 95 right now, buddy. You are almost officially completely covered now, Jamie.
This thing's really starting to creak, and it's feeling like it's changing its shape.
The cascading tons were just too much for the casket to bear.
The thing is buckling and changing shape on him.
I can feel it coming in.
You want out?
Roger that. We're gonna get you out.
A hasty exhumation followed.
Yeah, it buckled. Here we go.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey. Oh. And he's still alive.
Did it? It was just sitting there going.
After 30 minutes underground, too much weight, not too little air, caused the boys to kill the experiment. This Hollywood myth was laid to rest.
I don't think it's possible for someone to survive a couple of hours in the panic state of being buried with their coffin crushing and all of that stuff, let alone a couple of days until they're exhumed and found to be alive. That's just patently ridiculous to me.
Well, there you go. Myth busted.
Back at the workshop, the build team sets up for another go at shattering a classic movie myth. Can you jump through a plate glass window unscathed? Their dummy's first flight through an 1/8 of an inch pane proved the myth plausible, but garnered unspectacular results. So they're modifying the experiment
Oh my God.
by removing the dummy's thick latex skin.
Yeah.
I am not an a human being!
As soon as the glass comes cutting through here, we're gonna see all the slices. It's gonna be perfect.
They also replaced the window with thicker quarter-inch glass, the type found in most storefronts.
So this is the quarter-inch thick.
Twice as thick as the other one?
It's a lot heavier.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Dude,
Break out the Band-Aids.
look at this. He's taken a massive amount of scraping here.
Whoa, whoa, it's bigger than just small.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's gonna take a few stitches.
I mean, this guy's
This is
sustained
definitely-
lacerations on a whole bunch of different parts of his anatomy.
Yeah.
I think
And
he
look at
took a
this. You
fair
got this
amount of
big scrape right here. Look at that.
So, the Hollywood myth that you could plow through a storefront plate glass window, dust yourself off on the other side, and keep on running without any damage to yourself, busted, plausible, or confirmed?
Busted for sure.
Busted, definitely. Look how deep these cuts are.
Yeah, I'd agree. He sustained a hell of a lot of damage on that trip. You know, people have come to expect really big explosions when they go to the movies. They've become a mainstay of Hollywood films.
Yeah, they paid their $10 and they want to see a big boom.
Just like Jamie does.
And we know a thing or two about big explosions because we've done quite a few of them on the show.
The myth we're going to test right now is about how a lot of those explosions get started. We're going to test the myth of, can a cigarette ignite a pool of gasoline? Under no circumstances should anybody try this at home.
Yeah, we're not giving you instructions on how to burn things in your house or on your street. This is debunking the Hollywood myth.
Gasoline ignites between roughly 500 and 540 degrees Fahrenheit. So to determine if this myth is even plausible, they gauge the temperature of a lit cigarette first.
You want to blow on that, Jamie?
Why don't I just inhale on it and you,
all right.
And you get it.
There we go. I'm getting about 450, 500 degrees.
Just in range. Time to pour.
All right, here we go. I am the villain. Aha! My plan is foiled!
Not exactly the Hollywood result they were hoping for. While the team works out the kinks, let's revisit another volatile myth.
The classic Hollywood myth usually involves a car, doesn't it, for a big explosion?
Yeah, like the exploding gas tank that we did. Will shooting bullets at the gas tank actually make it blow up?
That's the one.
To test this myth, Jamie and Adam loaded up their caddy and headed to their home on the range.
That's fire.
There was gas in the tank, and the bullets were definitely hitting it. But there was no explosion.
Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right in a row. Yep, you punctured that gas tank quite neatly.
And I'll bet you went right through the other side.
Hole of 3.
Jamie's rounds went clear through.
Yeah, there's one that's right out the bottom there.
So you're right.
This Hollywood myth was shot. In another attempt at a gratuitous explosion, they wired the barrels of 2 cement trucks.
Well, I got a 1-pound black powder bomb.
To test whether explosives could remove old, hardened concrete from inside the mixers.
I love this job.
Without blowing up the trucks entirely.
I want to blow that one up.
The first truck was filled almost completely with rock-solid cement.
There's a slab of concrete in there that's 3.5, 4 feet thick.
While the second had only a thin coating.
It's like a good 1-inch, half-inch cake on all the fins.
The honors went to Twister 1.
Blast danger! Clear the area! Blast danger! 3, 2, 1.
Awkward approach, yeah.
But the interior was unscathed.
Did we break some off the floor?
Nothing off the floor.
Time for the lighter Twister 2.
Blast danger! Clear the area! 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
We got some big chunks. A lot of stuff came off. This area is pretty clean. The stuff that's still here is pretty loose.
But what about Twister 1 with its barrel full of concrete?
You know, you can't really put enough explosive in there to blow that up without just blowing the truck up.
And that's when the light bulb lit up. So, under the watchful eyes of numerous law enforcement agencies, dozens of bags of high explosives were loaded into the drum.
Fire in the hole. Fire in the hole. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Finally, the MythBusters got what they came for.
Talk about removing concrete. There is no concrete, there's no truck, there's no nothing.
Having failed to ignite a gasoline trail like they do in the movies with the toss of a lit cigarette, the boys modify their experiment.
Okay, I'm clear.
And place the cigarette in the gas.
Nothing.
Well, what if they roll it?
It's still hot. It's still not out yet. Nothing's happened.
Well, it seems that an ember isn't pulling in as much oxygen as an open flame, so maybe that has something to do with it.
I think you're probably right about that.
So, myth busted?
So the reality of this is that it is highly unlikely that you will be able to ignite gasoline on the ground with a cigarette. But theoretically, it's possible. We know the temperature that gasoline needs to ignite at from a cigarette. We've got that data, but I can't make it do it.
Right. Well, Hollywood has definitely provided MythBusters with a ton of excuses to prove and disprove and test and just plain blow stuff up.
And I bet they're going to give us a few more.
Actually, I've got a couple of ideas about that. I saw this movie the other night that